Well, it's great to have everybody here. I want to welcome our guests from Japan. This is, a great day to have you visiting with us, and I look forward to this, symposium lecture as well as our events tonight. I just thought I would start with a couple of overview points. We have really formalized our approach to international relationships over the last couple of years with a decision to focus our energies on just a handful of countries where we develop deep, meaningful relationships, often with several institutions in those countries. And for those, we establish formal Jefferson Global Centers. And the first one we developed, building on long-standing relationships that Dean Ganella had fostered over the years, was with Japan. And the Jefferson Japan Center is sort of front and center for us. We've since added 3 other countries, and it's pretty amazing the kind of programming that you can develop once you start focusing your resources and energies. That includes Italy, India, and Israel as the ones that we're really pushing forward right now. Japan has stood out really because of Yoshihisa Asano's interest in the link between humanism and medicine. And that really has become a major focal point for us in our Japan relationships. There are obviously other areas that we're pursuing jointly with Japan, but that certainly has stood out for us. And for me, this has sort of come into real focus of late because I'm starting to, I guess, having been a dean of a med school for over 10 years now, which makes me one of the longer-standing deans of med schools in the country. I was asked to give a talk at Johns Hopkins this past June on the future of medical education, and I started to think about the future physician, and I'm actually in the process of putting a book together. And I think one of the concepts that bubbles up is, while organized medicine, at least in the United States, is so completely focused on competencies, and certainly competencies are important, what will really be important for the physician of the 21st century are what you would call human qualities and ways of thinking. And I think there's a lot of depth to that concept once you start to explore it in a very deep and deeper and meaningful way. So today's lecture, I think, has special resonance for that kind of concept of what is the physician in an age of machine intelligence going to be doing. We've got to remember the medical students we are training now will likely be practicing into 2050, 2060, maybe some in 2070. Given the lifespan in Japan, some of them may be practicing into 2080 and beyond. And we've got to, this is an age of machine intelligence, of healthcare extenders, and we have to think deeply about what that future physician will be doing and those human qualities. I think it's going to be exciting now also to start to explore how we can expand our relationships in Japan and explore perhaps additional ways that we could bring to play. So, Dr. Paul, thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Mark. For those who don't know me, I'm Charlie Pohl, the director of the Jefferson Japan Center. And I want to welcome all of our guests today from Jefferson, from Philadelphia, and especially those of you joining us from Japan. So thank you for coming. The Jefferson Japan Center was started by Dr. Ganella in 2012, and it's really important that we do acknowledge all that he's done for us and for this connection with Japan. And he started this center really to coordinate an exchange of health professionals and to really improve medical education. And this was started between Jefferson, Noguchi Medical Research Institute, and this health system called JADICOM. And today we hold our second Dr. Yoshihisa Asano lecture for medical education, with the keynote speaker is Dr. Nobuo Nara, who joins us, and he'll be introduced later. But he's the executive director of the Japan Accreditation Council for Medical Education and also president and CEO of NPO, Noguchi Medical Research Institute. But now I have the distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Dr. Yoshi Asano, the founder and chairman emeritus of Noguchi Medical Research Institute. He's a Japanese entrepreneur, he's a biochemist, a chemist. He's also a scientist in public health and a specialist in dietetics. He founded the NMRI, the Noguchi Medical Research Institute, with the recognition of the importance of healthcare and medical education, where it's become a national model for developing the Japanese medical workforce, improving quality of medical care, and instilling humanism in healthcare delivery, as Mark alluded to previously. Dr. Asano serves as the advisor to the Association of International Society of Personalized Medicine. He's a visiting scholar and faculty member here at Jefferson. He's also a visiting scholar at Dalat University in Vietnam, and he is a member of the Japanese Medical Association of America. But on a personal note, Dr. Yoshi Asano, who I consider an esteemed colleague and a real personal friend, is a kind and selfless person whose generosity and compassion has impacted countless of individuals, of healthcare providers and their patients, as well as us here at Jefferson. And so without much more ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Yoshi Asano to say a few words and also introduce our keynote speaker. And as a small token to remember the Asano lectureship, I'd like to, the inaugural lecture.
My problem is always money and language, especially English language. Always I'm asking the coffee in airplane. Cabin attendant brought me Coke. And the most miserable situation which I have had. So, cabin attendant asked me, coffee or tea? I very, very politely replied her, I'm fine. She brought me wine. So, I'm very, 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 what shall I say? Ashamed to speak English, but I have to introduce the today's lecturer, Dr. Nobuo Nara, for the second Asano lecture. Okay, let me start. This is, the all of you know Mount Fuji. This is Dr. Noguchi, who passed away in 1928 in Ghana, Africa, by yellow fever. So he is our symbol of our institute. This is our logo. Noguchi Medical Research Institute has been established in 1983. Here is the chairman of Board of Trustees named Dr. Sato, right there. And vice chairman of the Board of Trustees of Noguchi Medical Research Institute named Dr. Andy Tsuda, right there. Okay, Our institute has been established by Dr. Gonella and Dr. Ojima and Dr. Hinohara and Dr. Amano and his support. The key person was Dr. Sakura, who passed away 2015. He was a professor of Children's Hospital of University of Pennsylvania. And he submitted the proposal to establish the Noguchi Medical Research Institute to the City Hall of the city of Philadelphia. At that time, so our proposal was accepted by this guy, Mr. Michael Kenny, right there. Okay, when he was deputy mayor of the city of Philadelphia. Fortunately, our institute was established by him. But without Dr. Gonella, so we have not made any performance and activities on Noguchi Medical Research Institute, especially for medical exchange and medical education. This is some information about the Dr. Hasumi, Kenichiro Hasumi. He has I introduced Dr. Hasumi to Dr. Gonella. It makes the finally Dr. Kenichiro Hasumi chair professorship. Now, chair professor of Dr. Kenichiro Hasumi is Dr. Takami Sato, right there. And he is now the chairman of the board of trustees of Noguchi Medical Research Institute. Right here. He doesn't sleep. 24 hours he's working, you know. So I should ask the Mark, please don't whipping him too much. Okay, someday Charlie called me. I want to meet you, and would you please introduce me the National Art Museum of Tokyo or Japan. What? You are a doctor. Why you want me introduce you the key person of National Art Museum? You might be very busy to work as a doctor, physicians. No. Training for physician. For training for physician, we need the sense of the art. Art. Oh, how to make the good dialogues with patient and doctors? No. Art itself. I was very confused. But finally, I went to the National Art Museum of Tokyo in Ueno, where the statue of Dr. Noguchi is standing, you know. So finally, I could understand what Charlie means. Okay, art in arts. Okay, especially the pediatricians. Okay, if they will become to understand the art in arts itself, it makes the ideal, the best pediatrician or pediatricians for patients. Finally, Charlie very kindly explained very thoroughly, Yoshi, humanity and empathy in medicine. I have asked him, "Oh, Charlie, technology and knowledge on medicine is more important, isn't it?" Charlie replied, "It's naturally, of course, but okay, teaching technology and knowledge is no good. All doctors should learn technology and knowledge by themselves. We have to teach them how to be, okay, good doctor with humanity and empathy for patients." I could understand. So being taught by Charlie makes me, okay, continuous endowment of over $1 million to, okay, Jefferson. I don't think the Charlie's teaching or mentoring is not, okay, stimulate me to make money and endow money to Jefferson. Just more spiritual matter, I think. But unfortunately, I am continuously endowing money to Jefferson. It might be very good for Mark. So let me introduce you the Dr. Nobuo Nara. Okay, this is late Dr. Hinohara, who passed away when he became the 105 years old. Okay, he passed away 2017, end of 17. And Dr. Nara, where is this photograph taken? Oh, Mount Fuji, okay. So, let me, explain who's who, Dr. Nara, okay. He graduated Tokyo Medical and Dental University. And he got a physician, MD, and 1982, he got a PhD. And he became 1994, he became the professor of medicine of Tokyo Medical and Dental School. And 2002, he became the function. And he became 2017, he became the key person of the medical education in the foot of Mount Fuji, which we call the workshop in Mount Fuji. Maybe he will explain a little bit more in detail by himself. Okay, this is the 2018. He became the chairman emeritus of Tokyo Medical and Dental School, and his new job is the president of NPO, non-profit organization of Noguchi Medical Research Institute in Japan. Okay. This is the connection of late Dr. Hinohara, late Dr. Ojima, Dr. Gunella, and Dr. Nara. This is we call the long gray line. West military school of the West Point, like. This is all his activities on medical education. Another word, workshop of medical education. Just a moment. This is Canada. maybe his philosophy of medical education is, okay, what shall I say, spread all over the world. Thank you very much. Dr. Nara, your turn. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Professor Nobuo Nara, and President of non-profit Noguchi Medical Research Institute. I am so happy for having this honorable opportunity to speak here at Thomas Jefferson University. I give my sincere appreciation to Dr. Mark Chikotinsky, Dr. Joseph Gonera, Dr. Charles Paul, Dr. Takami Sato, and many, many others for this warmest invitation. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Yoshihisa Asano for his beautiful introduction. Thank you. I would like to introduce myself briefly. My family name is Nara. Dr. Gonera knows this Nara because he lived in 1968, right? That is the same name as the oldest capital in Japan, almost 1300 years ago. My first name is Nobu. That is the same as Nobu restaurant in New York. I am neither the delegate of Japan nor the owner of a famous restaurant, but merely a hematologist and a medical educator. I graduated from Tokyo Medical and Dental University in 1975 and had been a teacher at my alma mater from 1985 to 2015. After retirement, at age 65 in 2015, I have mainly engaged in the accreditation of medical school to assure and improve the quality of medical education. Now, I work at 4 institutes: the Japan Accreditation Council for Medical Education, JACME for short, the National Institute of Academic Degree and Quality Enhancement, Tokyo Medical and Dental University, and Juntendo University. Can you imagine that I have to work harder after retirement, although my income is getting lower? I would like to show you the 4 seasons in Japan. We enjoy beautiful cherry blossoms in springtime, classical gardens in Kyoto in summer, beautiful colored leaves in autumn, and snowy Mount Fuji in winter. Most Japanese are sensitive to the change of seasons and love the color of nature. This slide is a class photo at a celebration of its 50th year from graduation at Thomas Jefferson University. It was in October last year. Dr. Joel Barish, he is my friend, was a visiting professor at our university. He teaches us about the American education system and also English. First, I would like to talk about humanity and empathy in the Japanese heart. We Japanese regard the heart as of great importance, including humanity and empathy. You know, small wrestling is a national sport in our country. Small wrestlers must be powerful and master skills in wrestling. However, it is considered more important to have a noble heart. Small wrestlers must respect each other and be prominent in hard skills and strengths. Small wrestlers. In contrast, physicians must have a sincere heart, including humanity and empathy, excellent skills, and scientific knowledge instead of physical strength. This slide shows the medical practice in Tokyo about 300 years ago. A physician called a red-bearded physician took care of poor patient heartfully at a small clinic without asking any payment. Instead, he got a large sum of money from wealthy samurais or merchants, and those monies were used for the treatment of poor people. He was not interested in promotion. In contrast, a young doctor just returned from clinical training wanted to be promoted and be a court physician. He was proud of having the most recent knowledge at that time, and despite the old physicians with traditional medical knowledge, he did not like to take care of poor patients. However, the young doctor had been gradually impressed by the humanity and empathy of the old doctor while he watched the dedicated medical care for a poor patient by the old doctor. Finally, he gave up the promotion and decided to work with the old doctor at a small clinic. By the way, I'd like to briefly describe the historical change in medical practice and education in Japan. Medicine in Japan had been based on traditional Chinese medicine Kampo until 250 years ago, which is effective in some patients and therefore sometimes used as an alternative medicine even today. However, Chinese medicine is not based on science, but mainly on experience. Physicians consider that medicine should be based on science, and therefore learning anatomy became very important. Some physicians, including Genpak Sugita, has a textbook anatomy published in the Netherlands and translated it into Japanese in 1774. This is a textbook translated in Japanese. Most physicians did not understand Dutch. There was no Dutch-Japanese dictionary, of course. It was really hard work, but they were eager to translate it all. Can you imagine? It took over 7 days to translate just one word, nose. Anyway, it took over 3 years to publish the textbook in Japanese. Many physicians were so impressed with the anatomy textbook that they wanted to introduce European medicine instead of Oriental medicine. From 1639 to 1854, Japan closed its door to the outside world. Only a small island at Nagasaki was open as a gateway exclusively to the Netherlands and China. Physicians who wanted to learn about European-style medicine visited this small island, Nagasaki, where a small clinic was built by Philip von Siebold in 1824. This is a small clinic. This clinic became later the Nagasaki University School of Medicine, and therefore is considered the oldest medical school in Japan. Siebold, however, was not Dutch, but German. So he was banished in 1828. Dr. Pompe from Meerdervoort, a Dutch army physician, was invited to teach European medicine in 1857. he established a teaching hospital, shown in this picture, and many young students ran there. They used textbook written in Dutch. The textbook is written in Dutch. Have a look. A student had swords, which were permitted to only samurai at that time. So physicians may be thought as a kind of samurai. Pompey emphasized the importance of professionalism as a physician. This is his word. The physician should realize the nature of this vocation. Once he has made his choice, he is accountable to the suffering, not to himself. If it is not his wish, then he should choose another profession. These words are now used as a school motto of Nagasaki University School of Medicine. I now work at the Juntendo University School of Medicine, which is the second oldest medical school in Japan. It was established in 1838. The school motto of Juntendo University is Jin. This is a Chinese character Jin, which means humanity or human-heartedness. You may find the word Jin. This is the emblem of our university. Looks like Jin. And interestingly, the word means nucleolus in biology. Jin means nucleolus. Medicine is considered the practice of performing Jin. Jutsu means art, so Jin art, caring and humanitarian profession. Since 1868, the Japanese government had changed from the samurai government to a democratic government. The new government decided to introduce the German medical education system instead of the Dutch system in 1869, because German medicine was considered the best in the world at that time. For that purpose, the new government established a new medical teaching hospital in 1869 and invited several teachers from Germany. This photo shows the lecture at that time. Students seemed very eager to learn modern medicine. After the Second World War, the government introduced American culture, and accordingly, our medical education system has shifted from German to American style. German style to this is a textbook surgery in English. National examination for medical practitioners were introduced in 1946 and has contributed to assuring the quality of medical practice. Now I'd like to move to the present medical education system in Japan. There are 82 medical schools, maybe half of the United States, and approximately 9,600 students that graduate every year. After graduation, they must pass the national examination to practice medicine. After graduation, the major difference of our education system from that in the United States is that we mainly accept high school graduates for admission and educate them in 6 years. This slide shows the structure of medical education system, a 6 years program. A student must study basic and clinical medicine for 4 years, beginning 4 years, based on the model core curriculum proposed by the Ministry of Education. Then they have to pass a nationwide common achievement test, looks like USMLE Step 1, including computer-based testing, CBT, for evaluating their knowledge, and an objective structured clinical examination, OSCE, for evaluating their attitudes and clinical skills. After passing the common achievement test, students take clinical clerkship at 5th and 6th class year, and then graduate must pass a national examination and take a residency program of at least 2 years, to master professionalism as a physician and fundamental medical care skills at training hospital recognized by the Ministry of Health. This is the structure of model core curriculum. It was implemented by the Ministry of Education in 2021 and thereafter revised in 2007, 2011, and 2016. Two-thirds of the total curriculum contains a minimal essential requirement to engage in medical practice, while another one-third is elective, selected by each medical school individually. The structure of the curriculum is the integration of basic science and clinical medicine. There are 7 categories. Category A, basic qualities and competence essential for physicians. Category B, society, medicine and medical practice. Category C is general principles of biomedical sciences. Category D, structure and function of normal organs, and pathophysiology, diagnosis, and treatment of organ diseases, such as cardiac disease. Category E, systemic physiological changes, and pathophysiology, diagnosis, and treatment of systemic disease, such as infectious disease. Category E, introduction to clinical training, and Category G, clinical clerkship. The curriculum in each medical school is formulated based on the model core curriculum, although elective and original curriculum are included in each medical school. After 6 years of education, the outcomes of students are assessed by the national examination for medical knowledge and objective structured clinical examination for clinical skills and attitudes as physicians. There are 9 basic qualities and competencies required for physicians described in the model core curriculum. That is professionalism, medical knowledge and problem-solving ability, practical skills and patient care, communication skills, the practice of team-based healthcare, management of quality of care and patient safety, medical practice in society, scientific inquiry, and attitude for lifelong and collaborative learning. Among them, professionalism is most fundamental. Students have to understand fully the responsibilities of physicians who are deeply involved in human life and protection of health, and follow the ethics of physicians while practicing patient-centered medicine. Humanity and professionalism for medical students to acquire in the 6-year program are as follows: appropriate appearance, speech, and attitude, punctuality, good communication with the medical team including instructors, trustworthy relationship with patient, respect, humanity, and empathy, attention to the discomfort and constraint felt by patients, confidentiality and protection of personal information. After graduation from medical school, graduate must pass the national examination, as I mentioned before, to practice medicine in Japan. Passing the examination is mandatory to have a medical license. Then graduate must take a residency program of at least 2 years. During the residency program, graduates will acquire the competence required for practicing medicine by themselves. Education of professionals is mandatory based on the model core curriculum. The contents of professionals training are determined by each medical school. However, most schools include the items as follows: role and responsibilities of a physician, responsibilities in society, respect for patient, trust, honesty, responsibilities for patient safety, good communication, respect for professional boundaries, ethics, and unprofessional behaviors. This education of professionals begins in the first year and continues through 6 years. Teaching hours for this education in professionalism is the greatest in the 5th plus year because it is stressed rigorously in the clinical practice. The method of such education is mainly lecture style, but small group discussion and clinical practice are used in many schools. There are several evaluation methods, such as reports, written examination, portfolios, etc., to evaluate the acquirement of professionals by students. Finally, I would like to describe the accreditation system. The major mission of medical school is to promote qualified physicians, to protect and enhance public health. To meet this mission, quality assurance and improvement of medical education in medical school are very important. Institutional accreditation for universities has been conducted since 1924 in Japan. In contrast, accreditation for medical education program has not been introduced by 2010, while the ECFMG in the United States announced that physicians applying for ECFMG certification would be required to graduate from a medical school that has been accredited through a formal process that uses globally accepted criteria. We believe that accreditation is important not only to meet the ECFMG announcement, but also to assure quality and improve medical education. A meaningful international accreditation system should improve the quality of medical education and healthcare worldwide. The Japan Accreditation Council for Medical Education, JACME, has been established since 2015 and has been recognized as an international authority by the World Federation for Medical Education, WFME, since 2017. The aim of the JACME is program evaluation of medical schools and to promote the continuous improvement of medical education. The basic framework for medical school recognition and accreditation by JACME is shown. It consists of self-study by each medical school for internal quality assurance and external evaluation to guarantee quality assurance for the public. The accreditation process is shown. The process may not be much different from that in the United States. The report by JACME should contribute to the continuous improvement of medical education in Japan. JACME uses global standards by the WFME 2015 with minor modifications for self-study and external evaluation. The standards consist of Area 1, mission and outcomes, Area 2, educational program. Area 3, assessment of student. Area 4, student. Area 5, academic staff and faculty. Area 6, educational resources. Area 7, program evaluation. Area 8, governance and admission. And Area 9, continuous renewal. This criteria may be similar to that of LCME in the United States. A school that complies with the basic standards is accredited. A school that fails to fulfill the basic standards in a few sub-areas is conditionally accredited. A school that fails to fulfill the basic standard in substantial sub-areas or with major flaws is rejected. The term of validity of the full accreditation is 7 years, and that conditional accreditation is 3 years. As an example, standards on educational outcome are shown here. The medical school must define the intended educational outcomes that students should exhibit upon graduation in relation to their achievement at a basic level regarding knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Appropriate foundation for future career in any branch of medicine, their future roles in the health sector, their subsequent postgraduate training, their commitment to and skills in lifelong learning, the health needs of the community, the needs of the healthcare system, and other aspects of social accountability, and also ensure appropriate student conduct with respect to fellow students, faculty members, other healthcare personnel, patients, and their relatives. To be more clearly understood, annotations are added in several areas. This slide shows the annotation for educational outcomes. In summary, ethics and professionalism are educated as an important theme in most of medical schools in Japan. Ethics and professionalism are clearly described as competencies that all medical students must attain by their graduation. The Japan Accreditation Council for Medical Education evaluates each medical school to see if it defines the educational outcomes by which educational program is conducted. If not, JACME recommends that such school must define in educational outcomes, including professionalism. For your information, I'd like to introduce a classic Japanese heart written in the poem by Kenji Miyazawa in 1931. The poem was repeatedly recited to encourage people suffered from the big Tohoku earthquake in 2011. This is occurred in Tohoku area. Over 18,000 people passed away in the earthquake, and lots of people were downhearted. This area attacked by big earthquake. So I'd like to show you the poem. Strong in the rain. Strong in the rain, strong in the window, strong against the summer heat and snow. He is healthy and robust, free of desire. He never loses his generous spirit, nor the quiet smile on his lips. He eats a handful of brown rice, miso, and a few vegetables a day. He does not consider himself. In whatever occurs, his understanding comes from observation and experience, and he never loses sight of things. He lives in a little a thatched roof hut in a field in the shadows of a pine tree grove. If there is a sick child in the east, he goes there to nurse the child. If there is a tired mother in the west, he goes to her and carries her sheaves. If someone is near death in the south, he goes and says, "Don't be afraid." If there is strife and lawsuits in the north, he demands that the people put an end to their pettiness. He weeps at the time of drought. He plows about at a loss during the cold summer. Everybody calls him blockhead. No one sings his praise or takes him to heart. That is the sort of person I want to be. That is written by Kenji Miyazawa, maybe 70 years ago. Okay, thank you for your kind attention. This photo shows the sunrise at Mount Fuji. The sun looks like a diamond and is reflected in the lake. This is a mirror image. We are proud of such a beautiful scenery. Thank you so much for your attention.
We have a few minutes for some questions. Dr. Nara? Stand over.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, John Spann, and not working, but I'll talk about. Thank you for your wonderful lecture.
Thank you.
One of the struggles that we have in this country is not so much in teaching professionalism; it's the effect of the learning environment on our students and some negative influences the learning environment has. One thing we benefit in this country is sort of the American spirit to speak up. And a lot of our students feel comfortable speaking up, but not enough. It's about 20% of the time when students feel mistreated, they will speak up and say something. I've had the fortune of being in Japan a couple times, and the culture is different in Japan.
Yeah, it's different.
And there's more of a pressure to conform to the social structures and the hierarchy. So I'm wondering if you could comment on Japanese students' feelings about speaking up when they see something wrong in the learning.
Yeah, and sometimes we teach a student about unprofessional behavior. So they would learn about the unprofessional behavior from other students. So teach other. It's okay? So anyway, the culture is much different between your country and our country, and our students do not speak so much, just learn by observation.
Such a large amount of time devoted to professionalism education in the fifth year. It was 800 hours, I believe. Can you talk a little bit about what you do during that time?
Yes, a student must learn by, as I mentioned, observation or professional behavior by the doctors or nurses or another professional. So we teach students in long time as a fifth year class, but they learn by themselves mainly. So it may be long time.
So that's the launch of the Japan Accreditation Council was a major step forward in 2015. What did it replace? What was the accreditation mechanism before that, and how difficult was the politics to get it established,
Yes.
especially with this emphasis on professionalism?
Yeah, we don't have an accreditation system before 2015. So the government asked us to establish the accreditation system in response to the ECMG announcement, and we established how to accredit medical school, especially professionalism. Education should be most important. So our accreditation system promotes the improvement and quality assurance of medical education in all medical schools in Japan. I think that is successful at present. I learned much from LCME and ECMG, so that works very well.
Well, I want to thank you and thank everyone for attending. On behalf of the Jefferson Japan Center, we would like to present you with this plaque of
Oh, yes, thank you.
in recognition and appreciation of your distinguished and invaluable services rendered as a guest of honor and keynote speaker. And I especially want to thank the generosity and kindness of Dr. Asano. If you want to stand one more time, who this lectureship is named after. Thank you very much.